and welcome to the official YouTube channel of Anastasis Academy. My name is Ananya B. Chatterjee, your VARC mentor. Now, guys, people who are preparing for CAT 2024 or even CAT 2025, it's always a good idea to start as early as possible. I hope that you have seen the previous year's papers and you understand that almost 100% of CAT VRC section is now completely reading based. When I say reading based, let me shed some light on this. If you talk about the reading comprehension questions that are coming, they are reading based, of course, 16 questions from RC. And then you have parajumble questions wherein you have to read the paragraph, you have to understand it. Then you have the para summary question, same. Then you have the sentence insertion question wherein they test your ability to place the sentence, a certain sentence in the course of a passage. You need to have a lot of anticipation in reading. That is also reading based. And finally, your out of context questions are also reading based, your ability to find out which sentence is out of context. So it won't be an exaggeration to say that 100% of CAT VRC is now reading based. So what is the need of the hour? What is that one critical skill that we need to have in order to fare well in CAT? That is reading skill, right? So I am thrilled to announce that we are starting this series called Bibliophile. Biblio is books, file is a lover. So Bibliophile series, wherein we are going to meet every Saturday and Sunday, and we are going to discuss one article from anywhere on the web, one interesting readable article which can help us improve our reading skills. We are going to read this together. We are going to try to find out the main idea of the passage, the vocabulary, the structural intricacy, the tone, the style, the purpose of it, the inferences that we can draw. So we are going to go all out on most of the parameters that can make a person a better reader. So we have selected this today, this passage from Hindu. Although it's slightly old, it's from September 7, 2023, but it still remains relevant because the debate is not over. The title of this passage is India, that is Bharat, on a name game. Let us start reading together. India and Bharat have both evoked. One second. Yeah. India and Bharat have both evoked the same emotions among patriots for decades, but these labels of pride have now been weaponized for narrow politic ends. So the author is, in the first sentence, he's starting with the similar pride that people have felt. One second, guys, I need to reduce the pen size. The similar pride felt by both group of people who use the word India and people who use the word Bharat. But now this difference, this dichotomy has been weaponized for political agendas. This debate is being given a political flavor. So it has set the context of the entire passage. Clearly, the author is going to talk about the dichotomy of India versus Bharat. And the author is also going to talk about what kind of political agendas are being served, what kind of ulterior motives are being served through this debate. The Bharatiya Janata Party government at the center has decided to use Bharat instead of India in some official communication and documents, a practice that its representatives will say will now expand India, that is Bharat. Well, first of all, we have one side of the debate wherein you have Bharatiya Janata Party, and they have decided to use the term Bharat instead of India in some of their official communication and documents. And that practice they believe is going to increase and kind of This will become a more normative practice as time goes by. People will prefer Bharat over India. India, that is Bharat, is how the Constitution of India names the country. So now we have a seemingly neutral perspective on the naming culture given by the Constitution of India, right? India, that is Bharat, that is how it is written in the Constitution of India. Names the country and the use of one or the other has been largely contextual all this while. Depends on the context, which one you are using. The cultural echoes of Bharat have never been in doubt. And the current hype around it is more about a campaign to discard the use of India. See, the author agrees that the term Bharat and its significance, see here, the cultural echoes of Bharat have never been in doubt. We never said, as a populace, we never claimed that Bharat is not an important term, right? Um, but the current hype is not about is Bharat an important term or not, but it is rather about let us discard the term India altogether. Right. So it's more like it's not about in support of Bharat, it's in opposition or antagonism to the word India. Hmm. As if both cannot exist in harmony, author says. It seems the debate gives an impression that these two terms cannot probably uh, exist in harmony, as if India, according to this telling, this narrative, telling here means narrative or the debate or the narrative of the debate, is a foreign imposition. So, what is the reason number one being given for why there is a growing antagonism against the term India? That people feel that it is a foreign imposition. It is not created by Indians for India. So, other people, the foreign influences called India, India. So, and hence unsuitable for national dignity. So, the logic that they are giving is that why should we name ourselves something which has been imposed by the foreign intruders or foreign influences? I mean, where does it put our dignity? Right? Why should we go by what they want to call us? Bharat, linked as it is to various ancient sources, goes beyond the geographical and cultural landscape that constitutes the modern Republic of India. Now, this is an important sentence. This is in favor of Bharat, right? A positive attribute. What? That the term Bharat is linked as it is to various ancient sources. Maybe you could be talking about the Vedas, the Upanishads, the ancient wisdom literature of India, the historical remnants of India, which have been constantly using the nomenclature Bharat instead of India. It goes beyond the geographical. So there is a geographical identity to the fact that it is called Bharat and the cultural landscape. So author agrees that the term Bharat is attributed to the geographical canvas and the cultural canvas also. But the significance of it goes beyond cultural and geographical. Okay, very well. In that sense, both names are an outcome of India's nation building journey. So, here the author is again talking about a similarity. He starts with both names. Similarity number two. What is it? That part of India's nation building journey. So, India as a country has had a history. So at one point in history, if people preferred the word Bharat, the author is actually implying that you cannot just wish away your history of 250 years of British colonialism, maybe, and before that, other invaders from Europe, which who touched on the fringes of this country as colonial with colonial intentions. So you can't say that, yeah, I'm going to accept Bharat as a part of history, but I'm not going to accept India as a part of the history. So, in that way, again, similarity number two drawn by the author is both are a part of the journey. Laboring to tease out, trying to push out, laboring, what a beautiful phrase, huh? Laboring to tease out. So you may tease someone to the extent that a person leaves. Also, tease the name India enough so the name actually goes out of practice. Laboring to tease out the foreign from the native in the expanse of this nation that hosts a multitude of ethnic, linguistic, ethnic is cultural, linguistic is language based, and the genetic diversity, and that has been formed as a result of millennia. Millennium is singular, millennia is plural. So, thousands of years of migrations and cross currents of human interaction serve no purpose other than creating new flashpoints in society. These are just creating triggers. So it is like we are completely trying to homogenize the entire framework and fabric of India. We are not ready to consider the diversification that comes with parameters like ethnicity and language and genetic diversity and maybe racial differences, uh, because we're talking about genetic diversity. So it's like we want to wish away all the history that India had in terms of migration and cross current of human interactions. And you just want to focus on one part of it. Right. Moving on to the second part. This farcical hubbub. So, farcical is something which is absurd, funny in many cases, but absurd, crazy. You know, hubbub is chaos of a crowd. Farcical hubbub. Nice phrase used here. Farcical hubbub of something. People are creating a lot of hoopla around it, and it's absurd. This farcical hubbub hoisted upon the country should have been allowed to dissipate and recede. So, people should have ideally been okay with the debate dying down, dissipate, spreading out, diluted, dissipate and recede, retreat. This debate should not have been given this kind of a limelight to begin with. But the knee jerk reaction is reflex reaction. It means reflex reaction. The knee jerk reaction of the opposition. So BJP said, so in the first paragraph, we talked about how BJP wants to use the term Bharat in some contexts as opposed to India. Now, in the second paragraph, we are talking about the reaction of opposition, which has been instant, impulsive, knee jerk. Opposition, what it did? Opposition gave it the aura of a fundamental identity question before the nation. So instead of giving it more fuel, adding more fuel to the fire, what opposition has done is to give this entire debate a question of identity for the nation. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh has been asking for privileging the use of Bharat over India for long. But the opposition bloc's decision to label itself India as an acronym also might have influenced the BJP's hurry in the naming exercise. So both parties are polarized. We can infer that BJP and hence Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, these two entities are siding with the term Bharat while opposition is siding with the term India. So the author is giving a reason. So you see the circularity of this problem. So they say something, these people give a knee jerk reaction. They become polarized and rigid about using India, and these people are in a hurry to get to the naming exercise ASAP. So, more than the naming thing, this has become an ego war. It can be said, right? Because it happens during multiple arguments you must have seen in life that, first it's A versus B, and then it becomes something. And eventually it remains A versus B, person A versus person B, and people often forget what they were fighting about. So that's what it is happening on a larger scale, it seems. Far from demonstrating a nation's strength and pride, the government's name game undermines the confidence and soft power of the nation. Why does the author say so? Let's think about it. Why is the author claiming this? That this debate has somehow not strengthened our nation's pride. Hmm? Rather, it has underestimated, put to the back burner the confidence and soft power of the nation. The confidence and soft power of the nation. Hmm. Bharat has been a part of popular culture, political and cultural idioms. Because idioms, native phrases, right? So popular culture, definitely you listen to a lot of patriotic songs with the with the name Bharat in that. Hmm. Even movies like Bharat Humko Jaan Se Bhi Pyara Hai and all the songs that you sing. Political and cultural idioms and literature across many Indian languages. So it has been termed Bharat. Being a Bengali, I can attest to this. In Bengali, we say Bharat Borsho. So even then, we say Bharat. Similarly, India is also used by millions within and outside the country. Let's be honest, we are a country of 1.5 billion people. There are close to 8 billion people now in the world, and rest of the people in the world, they know India as India. A person in America, you can hardly expect the person to call India Bharat, right? So, who yearn for its progress. It is possible that contexts and constituencies of these proper nouns may vary. Proper nouns, India and Bharat. But that is the very reason to desist from attempting to impose the use of one and edge out the other. Because it is contextually different for different kind of people living in different parts of the world. That is the exact reason why they should not be pitted against one another. Right? Whether it is India or Bharat, the essence of the meaning that it conveys remains the same. What a beautiful thing to say. So, author is bringing together these two things that the essence remains the same. The needless juxtaposition. Juxtaposition is it's a figure of speech. Juxtaposition is when you put one thing on top of the other. You juxtapose. For example, these are my two palms. I have very small hands, but these are my two palms. So I'm juxtaposing one palm with the other, right? The needless juxtaposition of the two names, one on the other, should not affect the bonding of the inhabitants in the pursuit of a misplaced cultural combat. That's what it is. That is what it is doing. It is dividing people unnecessarily on an unnecessary debate. Right, it becomes a war of cultures that we are team India and we are team Bharat. It is a needless exercise. Let India and Bharat coexist as they always have been. So that is the final conclusion that the author is making here. Now, a couple of important things. First of all, what is the main idea of the passage? So when you find the main idea of a passage, you're trying to summarize it, make it more concise, brief, in one or two sentences. The main idea of the passage, if I have to say it in one or two sentences, I would say that I'll go back to the first. The debate between the naming culture, the naming preference of Bharat and India are politically motivated but unnecessary in the context of unity and togetherness of the country. So you covered the debate also, you covered the political angle also, you covered the author's final opinion also. That is a needless exercise. It's not doing anything good. This debate is not doing anything good. When you talk about the tone or the style with which the author has, so what is a tone? Tone is the primary emotion with which the author is writing, and style is the way, the method with which he's trying to show his emotion. So in the course of the passage, the author seems skeptical about this debate, the the debate's essence, the debate's utility. The author is very skeptical about it. And the author is also the style, descriptive and skeptical about the utility of this debate. The style that he has used is going to be, there's a style also known as argumentative. Why? Because he stated the problem and then he's arguing against it. He's saying that a debate is going on and then he's giving you reason number one, reason number two, reason number three, why this debate is unnecessary, misplaced, and counterproductive. So he's argumentative, right? We can say other styles also, but that's the most prominent style that is jumping. Will jump at you. Acha. What is the purpose of the passage? Now, that's the end game. The author, if you know the style and the main idea, you can get to the purpose very easily. So, the author wants to argue against the debate ongoing between the naming culture of Bharat and India. And that's pretty much about it. That's the purpose. So, couple of important pointers, lessons to be learned. Number one, if you are a serious cat aspirant, then reading is non-negotiable on an everyday basis. You can pick and choose. One day you choose Hindu, the other day you choose aeon.co, the next day you choose Smithsonian. There are thousands and thousands of websites that you can read from. Keep it eclectic. So we read a political debate today. Tomorrow, try history. Day after, try economics. After that, you can try language, maybe psychology. So keep switching the topics so that you get comfortable with a range of topics and subjects. Always make sure that you note down the words if possible. If you have the time and the intent, note down the words, the vocabulary, the phrases that you find interesting. Try to find their meanings and write them down in a vocab copy. And that's about it. So that was the passage for today. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to see you in the next class with Bibliophile passage 2. Okay? Thank you very, very much. Take good care of yourselves and keep reading.